respected Mundraji and all the dignitaries on and off the dais, my friends in the media. It had been a very comprehensive discussion, and although the state government finance department is not much related to banking systems in India because it is mostly governed by the central government finance department. One thing I'll have to mention here, you are asking about my home portfolio, and this is where my role comes, because as Raiji rightly mentioned, then there is a risk element in the cash. It is in digital transaction as well. So Maharashtra is one of the state. In our each district, we have our cyber labs, which are ready to help you. You'll have to work in coordination with the Home Department to see how the cyber crime is reduced. Because when we are going for a digital platform, we'll have to be very cautious, because it ultimately lands up into cyber crimes where the people are innocent and not aware of all these things. But certainly, when we are thinking about these initiatives in India banking reforms, one will have to think why Adhikari brothers. First of all, I'll have to mention about them because it is a name known in each Marathi family, as first they come up as producers for very good TV serials, then owned a channel, and now they have come into this governance now, which is a very good initiative. And all of us will have to think why we are discussing about reforms in banking, because first of all, most of them are commercial banks, and they were dealing with their customers who are mostly using the new technologies now. Instead of draft, they are using the RTGS. But when the Prime Minister wants to reach the last person, there the role of banks is much important. And I'll have to very humbly tell Mundraji that any TV channel speaking about Indian banking system and RBI will have to remember about the days when the world economy was collapsing in the world recession, but still Indian banking system and Indian economy sustained in that only because of RBI and your controls over the banking system. That we'll have to mention here. So you need not bother about, because if Mr. Adhikari will be able to tell you better, because nowadays people don't want to listen about good things. They want something which is hot and that could be seen by many of the people. So we have a faith in your systems. We have a very strong banking system. Only thing is that how we will reach the last person. That is where the role of technology comes. When we talk about GST, because we implement GST as a finance department, I know most of the sites get blocked. Last 3-4 days, you cannot reach the site only. Like we have certain systems of voluntary disclosures. The last 3-4 days, the site is so busy, you are not able to access it at all. So when we are talking about technologies, we'll have to take into consideration all of this. Because in earlier days, when the scheme used to be there, whatever applications we used to get on the last day, we'll have to take those applications and process it afterwards. But with this new system, people don't have access to that site at all. So we'll have to check with our own technology, because India is such a huge country. We have our own problems. So when we talk about technology, we'll have to look into it. And then when we talk about governance, was this scheme not there? We wanted to have every Indian have his own bank account. But only after the new government came in, it was the will of the Prime Minister and good governance that it reached the masses. So that is how it happens. So governance plays a major role into everything. Even Aadhaar was there. Aadhaar was very much there when the previous government was there. But linking Aadhaar with all other schemes and taking the ultimate benefit to the common beneficiary is something new to this country. We want to take mudra to the last person. So how it is done to be done effectively, that one has to see. And previously I was a Minister of Rural Development Department as well. There we have internet connection to around 20,000 villages out of our 27,000 villages. And there was a person who was computer literate, was illiterate. He was not illiterate, he had all the knowledge of e-banking and other things. And if we could use that last person to reach common people in the villages, because it is not that the technology is not available, but how to use the technology. Everybody is not computer literate. So they are not able to operate what we wish to show them. So there we cannot just insist that the person who don't know how to operate the equipment or the mobile phone that we want him to operate, we cannot compel him to use that. So how to overcome this? That's the question all of us will have to tackle. And one last thing I'll have to, as a Minister of State or Finance, I'll have to mention, as you rightly said, that loan waiver, it is not putting any burden on the banking system. That is to be known by everybody. It will increase the burden on the government, but government has all the resources. It will overcome that. But one thing which I will like to sincerely mention here, that our banking system is different from the other systems in the world, where we are paying interest to our depositor. Many leading nations, they don't pay any interest to their depositors. So you will have to earn money. You will have to lend the money. When money comes to you by way of demonetization, you cannot just keep the money with you. You need good lenders, how to again generate some income out of it and pay the interest to your depositors. So there, I'll have to mention one thing. If you go through all your records, you will find that the poorest of poor never defaults in payment. A farmer will never be a defaulter unless there are some conditions like low rainfall or something like that. Then only he becomes a defaulter. A lady who is borrowing from you is never a defaulter, because there that repayment rate is 90-95%. But we are not concentrating on that part. We are concentrating only on our regular customers. So that angle of the banks is also to be changed. I'm very happy when I attend the SLBC meetings. Previously, only the district cooperative banks used to have that 60-70% of the loan that were given to the farmers were from the district cooperative banks. Now, the commercial banks are taking around 75-80% of this lending, which is a positive sign for a person like me who looks at the rural economy, who looks at the farmers, who looks at the small traders. And I think there the banking sector could play a much bigger role. So technology combined with your new angle towards reaching the last person in our country, I think that will bear the fruits which are expected by the Honorable Prime Minister. Even our Chief Minister, who is very young and dynamic, is always looking at these things. And I sincerely hope that your involvement in upliftment of the poor and improving the rural economy will definitely yield fruits, and we shall be always proud of you as we used to be. And with these words, I'll have to thank everybody, and I'll have to leave again for next appointment. I thank Adhikari brothers and governance now. I have gone through all your magazines, coffee table book. They are they are very impressive, and all of us are very proud of you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to attend this conclave. Thank you. Thank you very much.